On the G League broadcasts, I do the play-by-play more. I mean, Doug, you work with me.
Yes.
You know what I say when Neemias Queta has got a big play?
Oh, I know. Does he know?
Portugal, stand up! Neemias Queta is with us for the first time on the Deuce and Mo podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How y'all doing?
We're good, man. It's the off season. You're in Santa Barbara doing workouts. How's the off season been for you, man?
Yeah, man, it's been good. Like I got to work on a lot of different things. I got to rest most of all too, and I think I'll be making big strides this year.
That's awesome. I can't wait to dive into some of this too. I'm just curious. Like, I did the Portugal stand-up thing, of course. Your fans in Portugal, it's wild. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Like, someone will tweet out a picture of you or like video of you warming up, and people in Portugal freak out.
Thousands.
Like, they are so proud that you made it to the NBA. Like, how does that make you feel?
That's honestly that's how I thought it was gonna be, because Portuguese people, we just rock with each other no matter whatever's going on. I think it's just our way to be. Like, we just express love loudly, and I think it's been good for me. I love it. I love getting all that type of love, but at the same time, I know it's a little bit delusional for now too.
Well, what do you mean delusional? I mean, it's
I think it's cool. Yeah. It's really good for me, but at the same time, it's exaggerated, but I like it.
See, no way.
I think I know what he's saying.
I do too. And you would be surprised, because the strides that you've made to come this far, to get NBA minutes and everything, like, that means so much to people. Not only people in the G League that get to see that grind and that are hoopers and understand that grind, but the people in Portugal, that's what they feel. And they feel that connection to you. And I just think, like, it is by far the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I think, though, sometimes too, they're like, hey, he needs to be playing 48 minutes a night. He should be in the All-Star game. Maybe that's kind of what you mean.
Yeah, it's a perspective thing. If you look at it the way of like how I got here from Portugal, like being the first one, I get it like that. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, like I like to say.
Yeah. So what were you like as a kid?
Like, I was really studious, probably until I was 15, 16 years old, and then I really started digging down more into basketball.
Yeah. So what attracted you to basketball?
Literally, just I had the tools. Growing up, I wasn't really. I played basketball more as a hobby, more as a fun time. But when I got pretty big, I realized I had a lot of tools that a lot of big guys don't have, like moving well, like being able to run the floor like I do. And it's just I just started taking it more seriously and being okay. I can make something out of it. And after that, it was just a constant growth.
Were you always like a tall kid? Sorry, Maureen. Were you always like a tall person?
Yeah, I used to be really tall growing up until I was 12 and 13, and then everybody started catching up to me. And then I had another growth spurt. And then, like, at 16, I grew like 3 inches in 2 months. And then after that, yeah, that's when I started seriously.
So I guess then, as you started growing and getting taller and taller, I'm sure so many people around you are like, you should be a basketball player. You should be a basketball player. But who was it that helped you make your game better and or just motivate you to be better?
Like, coaching wise?
I mean, maybe it was a family member as a kid. Yeah, just anyone.
Yeah, like, I had a lot of different coaches growing up, because every 2 years we changed coaches in the formation back in Portugal, and my coach that actually put me in position to, okay, you gotta start taking it seriously, was my Zé Francisco. He's from Portugal. He's been in Barreirense for like 30 years, and he's got a wonderful resume. And after that, I just started listening to him more, and he gave me a lot of tools for me to develop. And then the other one was probably Bruno Higalo. The next 2 years was with him too. So I finished my last 4 years with them really good in Barreirense before I jumped to Benfica, and then that's how I started being who I am.
So did you watch like a lot of NBA growing up? Were you able to watch games with the time difference?
No, watching games was really hard for us because of the time difference. As you see, like games in Portugal would be like at 3 a.m., midnight, 1 a.m. And if you have school, you probably go at 8 a.m. and you probably have to wake up at 6. It depends, but it's a different world. We can't do that. We probably watch a lot of highlights, but the thing we used to watch more was like EuroLeague basketball, European competitions, our Portuguese league, and like other European leagues because they were in more accessible times.
Yeah, what is the Portugal or what is the basketball scene or culture like in Portugal?
The Portuguese league has been growing a lot the last few years. I'd say from the past 6 years, that's when we've been getting a lot more quality foreign players coming in. The Portuguese players been developing a lot, and the results have not come just yet. But I believe we'll still we're one of the countries that's more on the rise and on the scene.
So you grew up in Portugal, and eventually you land at Utah State. How did that happen? Like, I mean, that's a big change, right? You're moving just to a completely new country. You're coming here to play basketball. You're going to Utah State. Like, how did that happen? And do you know much about Utah beforehand?
No, not really. So like it's crazy how it works because without playing for the national team, there's never. I don't think I get ever recognized or I get
Wow.
type of looks from NBA scouts and college scouts. So that's how it comes to like playing through the national team. You get a lot of exposure, and hey man, like I played my first tournament and I played decently good. I had the tools, like I said, and they liked that. After that, like I started getting a lot of offers because of this video Mike Schmitz made on the internet, and after that,
Nice.
yeah, it just
Mike Schmitz made a video about you, and that's what
So
kind of got you
cool.
more attention. Dude, that is wild.
and after that, that's how I started being on the map, and school started talking to me. But at the same time, I wasn't really sure if I was gonna go that route or stay in the professional route in Europe because I had a few offers from Spain. I had a few offers from Portuguese league teams, and I just didn't know if I wanted to stay there or just go the college route. I decided to go the college route because in Utah State there was a Portuguese guy that actually had went to school with my older sister, and he
Wow.
played on the team, so he was just a perfect match for me. And in Utah, like the coaching staff was new too, and they went to Portugal to see me, so I had pretty much all the incentives to go there.
Were you ever good about like promoting yourself or ever understanding how to cut your own highlights, your own film and pushing yourself out there? Or was it just like
So
you were hoping, okay, okay. So yeah, what did you do?
I had one guy that made a few highlight videos for me, and he was really one of the guys that helped me the most to get work with the paperwork to come to the States. Andrea Ajipa, he did that job for me, so I thank him
Wow.
a lot for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then you mentioned Mike Schmitz. It's wild too to just see his kind of rise. And now, dude, I don't know if you saw it, he got a job with the
Oh,
Blazers.
oh man, I'm really happy for him.
I mean, he knows like what I was telling Morgan about what I've appreciated about him is just he loves it. Like he's at the gym. I mean, he's watching people like you that you weren't even really on the map yet, right? And like he's so thirsty to learn more and to see players around the world. It's just cool to see a guy put in the work and then get rewarded.
Exactly, man. If you put in the work, it'll come up, and somebody will give you an opportunity.
So, were you a gym rat growing up? Were you in the gym all the time or
Yeah,
were you the type, some guys too just throughout time, it's like especially if they're a bigger guy, I feel like over the years until this new era of NBA basketball, it's like guys would depend on their athleticism or depend on their height. But I feel like it's shifted where, nope, if you're not in the gym, if you're not working on your skill sets, it's just a whole different world now.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Because at the same time, I wasn't when I had the growth spurt growing up. I wasn't really that coordinated. I was still really, really, really raw. And with time, like after that, after I put in the time, I said I was gonna take a better effort at basketball and actually try to take it serious. That's when I started putting in extra hours in the summertime whenever we were playing. Like I try to I'd be the first one on the gym, like in Portugal, staying in there for hours when watching other teams practice, and it was just like that. So that's how I started growing up and playing a lot better.
I think one of the coolest things that Deuce and I can both agree with is that we got to see your growth on the court from summer league to G League to your, getting with the Sacramento Kings as well throughout their injuries and everything that was going on there. And it's incredible because you don't usually see that growth just happen right in front of your eyes within one season. But with you, we saw that. What was that grind like going back and forth, G League, NBA, and just working on your game at the same time?
It's a grind. Like I said, you don't really know what to expect in the beginning. You have an idea of what you want, what you think is going to be like, what everyone says is going to be like, but until you're there, it's totally different. Like you don't realize how much you have to put in, how much work you actually gotta be in there in the gym, like having commitments. Like it's a lot of stuff going on, and it takes time for you to adjust to all that. And I feel like with time, I just got used to it, and now I'm just more comfortable in it.
Looking at the G League, the talent base is pretty legit. I think it's getting stronger and stronger. I'm curious, did you notice a huge difference between the G League and the NBA? Like you're playing G League games, and when you get to the NBA, like what's the biggest difference between those two?
I would say sharpness above all. Like in the G League, it's more of an up and down game, and I would say there's more errors made. Um, the game, I would say the game is faster. That originates more mistakes, so it's natural. But at the same time, I would just say that in the NBA, everybody is getting to their spots easier. The game is more detail oriented.
Yeah, and I feel like at the end of last season, there were so many times Deuce and I were just rooting for you to get in, get those NBA minutes, get that NBA experience. Do you feel like it's going to take the on the court in game experience in the NBA to gain that sharpness, or can you also get some of that throughout practices?
You can do both. I feel like in practice it's a different experience than in the game, but you can learn from both. And I feel like I got a lot better just last year just through practice, just because I wasn't getting many reps in the game, but I was trying to get as many reps in practice. So like I feel like I actually understood what I needed to do. And by being in the game, you can watch and you hear whatever we're saying in the huddle. So you just understand and you know what you got to do once you get in.
Yeah, I remember in the G League too. You got an opportunity to take on Serge Ibaka, who was doing like a rehab assignment. I know it was like a rehab assignment for him, but I imagine for you, just going up against a guy who, yeah, was trying to battle back from an injury, but also like a guy who has just been playing for so many years in the league that has that sharpness that you're talking about. What was that experience like? That was pretty early in the season.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like with time I would have given him a better look, by the end of the year. But I actually feel like it was a good experience for me. Understanding I was already going against really good bigs the whole year. The whole bigs we had during the whole year, they were pretty good. In practice, we were going at it, and it was a good experience for me. And then throwing in guys like Ibaka, Amir Johnson, all those vets played in the G League. It's a really good experience for us as young players to have it and just understand what we need to improve on to get to their level.
the on-court experience, it's a grind, but the off-court experience as a G League guy who is also getting called up to the main team, the Sacramento Kings, throughout the season. What was that like for you, just physically, having to travel, fly back and forth, and having to play basketball at such a high level?
It's really not that hard. Like we get treated really good. Like I'm not complaining about anything. It's love for me. Like I grew up from nothing, so like I'm really grateful to have this opportunity to just even be able to play basketball for a living. It's just everything I wanted to do. So like I don't really think about it, but it's a grind. 82 games plus the however 50 games you do in the G League. It's a lot of games you can be a part of in 1 year. So it's it's more of a quantity of flights than than the quality, probably.
Yeah. So you mentioned coming from nothing. What was the moment like for you and your family when you get drafted? Like, what were the emotions for you, your family? What's going through your mind on that night?
Everything's going on through your mind. You really don't know what's going on. I'm just excited to see like what's the future, what's next. You worked so hard to get here, but there's a lot more to do. So it's a bittersweet moment because you're not really living in the moment. You're really just thinking about what's next. But it's something I'll always be happy about whenever I really think about it.
That's awesome.
So now you've been in Sacramento for a little bit too. Coming from Utah for a little bit, was there a big difference to you from state to state?
No, because California, like it reminds me a lot of Portugal. Like the weather is really similar. You get the beach. It's really similar to Portugal too. Like, and I'm really close to San Francisco. That's got the the bridge.
Oh,
That's
Golden Gate Bridge?
yeah, the Golden Gate
Yeah,
Bridge.
yeah.
Just like one of the bridges we have in Portugal, and I just say it's like little Lisbon. So it reminds me a lot of Portugal.
And is your family out here with you, or like, or are they still in Portugal?
No, they're all still in Portugal. I want to have them come soon, but it's still early. I got to figure out a lot of stuff over here.
Is that hard for you to be away from family like that?
Yeah, but I already got used to it with time. Like I've been through college for 3 years. This
Yeah.
year was the same. They make some sporadic trips here and there.
Cool.
So what's the biggest thing that you learned last year from G League, NBA, everything? Biggest thing you've learned?
Biggest thing is like you're you're never wrong doing extra work because it's never in your determinant. Like you got a limited amount of time to get better. Like you got a limited amount of time to be playing in the league or playing basketball, and you got to just take amount of that. Take a big, how do I say, like take a big advantage of that window you have, and just try to go through it.
What motivates you?
It's just playing through my family, playing for me, doing everything I can just to be able to be the greatest player I can be. I mean,
So obviously you're working on things. You're, like we mentioned, you're in Santa Barbara working on your game. Like, what are some things that you're kind of focused on right now as you get ready for your second year in the NBA?
I'm trying to like develop my overall game, being able to defend more in the perimeter, moving better laterally, getting a lot more coordination into me. I feel like I'm pretty coordinated, but I still got a lot of steps I need to little misguidances I need to work on.
Is there a specific skill set that you're also working on besides footwork, like anything else to sharpen your game?
Most definitely. I feel like I've been shooting a lot of jumpers lately. Trying to
Mm.
expand my game, my shooting. I want to be able to step down and be able to knock down threes whenever big sag off of me, and just be able to be a threat, at least be a threat whenever I'm wide open.
Yeah, your mid-range shots seem to get better and better throughout the year. Just you have that high arc. Is that on purpose? Is that more comfortable?
I feel like it's just more comfortable. I just try to like use less energy on my jump. So like whenever I don't jump much, I just want to get a good arc. I feel like I got a pretty good touch on the ball. So whenever I get the pretty good arc, I feel like it's going in.
The one skill set that like I think you showed off a little bit, but something you did a lot in college. I'm curious like how it's changed since you've been in the league briefly. Is just your passing, because you could pass the ball, and maybe some people don't realize that. But I mean, I just envision you at the elbow. You can orchestrate a little bit there.
Yeah.
What do you like about passing?
I like passing a lot. I feel like it's how I grew up playing. We all taught how to dribble the ball, but everyone on the coaching staff was preaching for us to pass the ball growing up in Portugal. So like that's how I learned how to play. So I feel like it's just something I haven't developed much in the NBA level much, because I really haven't been a threat scoring the ball. But I feel like once I start scoring the ball more, eventually I'll be able to create more attention, and with that I'll be able to showcase what I can do with the ball passing it.
You talked about, obviously developing that outside shot, especially when bigs are sagging off you. We're seeing that's the modern day NBA, and that's where it's going for bigs. Is there something else with your game that you want to develop or have so then you can have this 10-year plus career in the NBA?
Can you reframe it, please?
Yeah, like is there something in the league that maybe bigs have that you also want to have that can keep you and always have a role for you in the NBA?
Versatility. Like I would say a big like Al Horford can stay in the league for so long because he's versatile and he does so many different things. Like he can block shots, rebound the ball, shoot it. He can score it, post up. He can what's the name? Pass the ball. He does pretty much everything on the court, and I feel like it's pretty hard to take him off the floor just because he does so much different things that it's so hard to take him off the floor. So I feel like whenever you do so many different things like that, you can stay on the floor for no matter
Man,
where it
It's
was.
true.
you're so right. Like in just watching him in these playoffs, he's 35 years old. He's playing like he's like 26. It's insane.
No, he's been really good for the past few years. It's just hard to see it.
Yeah.
When you watch the playoffs, do you watch these guys and is it just fun, or is it ever like, I want to get there, I want to be there? What is it like watching the postseason?
It's definitely both. It's definitely both. It's fun to see the playoffs because growing up, you're a fan of the NBA. You want to watch. You want to watch. You're so excited to watch playoffs and these matchups that's going to be happening. But as a player now, you're right here. You want to be able to be in those moments and create a name for yourself.
Yeah, and I think we were talking to Davion about this the other day, and it's just seeing adjustments too. Like it's when you're playing the same team every game, it's just like it's a quarter by quarter adjustment. You see like dramatic shifts and different lineups. I don't know, man. It's fun to watch. It's just so different than the regular season. Have you felt that too watching games?
You can tell like the intensity goes up a lot. You can see how who adjusts more, who plays harder, who plays harder usually wins these games. I would say that, and then in the playoffs, is everybody's expected going to take out your first, second, and third option. What you're gonna do here? Who do you have a fourth option, a fifth option? It's being able to adjust in the moment.
Who are some big guys that you really like to study?
Right now, like I loved watching Bam. He's one of the bigs I like to watch a lot. Um, I like watching Robert Williams a lot. He's really solid, what he does. And of course, you got Joel, you got Nikola Jokic, like Cat. Those bigs are really the big position is really coming along for the next few years. We got a lot of big threats coming in.
Yeah. Have you been able to, I know Sabonis was, he got here late in the year and you're going back and forth. Have you been able to like talk with Demonis Sabonis, just kind of pick his brain at all?
Yeah, we did. Like for the week I was there in Sacramento, I got to see him work out, and like we worked out a few times together. So I actually got to understand what was different about him and other bigs. Like he's a really, really, really good ball handler, and he's super strong too. So he's a really good big too. He's gonna be really good
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah, you were talking about Bam too. I'll never forget. It was a few years back. He was playing in the California Classic Summer League, and I remember watching that. And Miami had Bam bringing up the ball.
Yep.
Like I was like, what are they doing? And it was all getting him ready for the year to handle the rock more. So if you play Summer League, you got to go to Mike Brown and say, "Hey, I want to bring up the ball." You got to try some different things. I want to see that. But are you playing in Summer League this year? Do you know?
Yeah, I will. I'll be playing the summer league.
Hell yeah. Oh, good. Well, then we'll see you there. But something else that too I wanted to ask you about your game, because obviously you in college just blocking shots left and right. So to you, what makes a great shot blocker?
I would say it's a timing thing. And you know about verticality and knowing which ones to choose on to jump. Like you see, like a good shot blocker doesn't jump all the time. Like he knows when he's beat. Like avoiding foul trouble is a really big thing about being a really good shot blocker. You can go and block one shot a game without fouling. Is for me that's a really good job. Um, I would say it's really just knowing when to jump and when not to jump.
That's gonna be such a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
A guy's driving at you, trying to maybe dunk or trying to bring it inside, and you just knock it away. I mean, you had so many blocks in college.
It was. I think it was just a height thing too. Like in college, a lot of players were shorter, and
Mm.
for sure. Like, but here is a different thing.
We've heard so much about that Davion Mitchell and like his insane workouts and like just his grind. What was it like? Because you got to see him early from summer league, into the season. What jumped out to you about kind of how he approaches the game of basketball?
He's different. Like you can see, he's just got a different type of mindset. Whenever he's on the court, he's there for a long time. He gets there at nighttime too a lot. So like you can see why he's getting better with time.
Yeah, it's been fun to see his development too. I know what I want to ask you about too. You got to see Dyson Daniels a little bit. We're talking a lot of draft stuff,
yeah.
and I don't know how much you remember about playing G League Ignite, but Dyson Daniels is a guy that keeps getting talked about as maybe a top 10 pick in the NBA draft. Did anything jump out to you about Dyson when you guys played him?
Yeah, I seen like he's versatile. He wasn't just one of those players that's just a scorer or just a assist man. Like he was getting a lot of steals. He was dishing the ball, scoring, shooting it, rebounding it. So like I think he's got a lot of potential to grow in the next few years. And like what, 19?
He's young, man.
Super young.
So he's got all the tools. Like he should be just fine if he got a good work ethic.
Yeah, I definitely saw those flashes. And another guy that like just got a lot of minutes in the G League, was able to develop. It was cool to see. So what's the rest of this offseason like for you? I mean, I know you got summer league, but before then, you're in Santa Barbara. You're getting work in every day. Like, what's the kind of your day to day?
Pretty much just getting in the gym and working out with P3. Like just being in there and just working out for a few hours.
Man.
And he's like, and then eating and then sleeping and
Eating
okay.
and sleeping and then watching the playoffs. That's pretty much it.
I love it. Have you had a chance to talk with Mike Brown at all yet?
Yeah. We had a phone call last week. It wasn't pretty long, but we got to get to know each other.
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be exciting. I mean, I know it's, coaching changes are always weird and, there's drama that comes with it, but Mike's reputation around the league as kind of a defensive minded guy. And, you guys have to be better defensively. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what he can bring.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to see what we're gonna be doing with him. Like it should be a really good time for us.
Yeah, man. Well, hey,
Excited for you.
really excited for you. Keep grinding this off season and keep putting in that work, and we'll see you at Summer League, man.
Most definitely. We'll see you guys really soon.
Yep, that's the one and only Neemias Queta.
Thank you guys for having me.